On Juice and Java, the University Union Block Party announcement. We'll give you the update of who you can expect to see performing on campus later this month.
And the captain of the Syracuse men's lacrosse team will join us in studio to talk about his journey on the team and one of the most exciting seasons in Syracuse lacrosse history.
All that and more coming up. Good morning, I'm Jamie Weiss.
And I'm Jackie Prager. Thanks for starting your morning with us.
Let's kick things off with this squeeze for this week's top stories. University Union has finally announced the anticipated lineup for this year's block party. Headlining this year will be Travis Scott, a hip-hop recording artist and record producer. Also performing at the event will be Zoo, an electronic musician and singer, and Aluna George will also be performing at block party. They consist of singer-songwriter Aluna Francis and instrumentalist George Reed. Tickets go on sale Monday, April 10th at noon on Ticketmaster and will be $20 to $25 for students and $40 for the general public. Now, Jackie, I know we were talking about this before, but I've never actually been to a block party.
I find that so shocking, but actually not. I mean, last year was terrible weather, but this year I know all three of the artists and I'm super excited. I think their lineup is on point this year and I'm so excited, and I think you really should try and make it this year because it is going to be a great show, I think.
I agree. I have to give you a lot of credit because I didn't honestly know who half the artists are, so thank you for showing me all of their music because I really didn't know who these artists were, but I think it will be a great show, especially because in the Carrier Dome there are a ton of great events like Block Party. They've also hosted the NCAA tournament in the past. There's always so much happening in the Carrier Dome.
Well, actually, speaking of the NCAA, there was major news in that the NCAA is going to allow North Carolina to start hosting championship events again. This comes after the state repealed House Bill 2. House Bill 2 is the law that limits anti-discrimination protections for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. The law required people to use the restroom that corresponds to the gender on their birth certificate. Now this law is no longer in place. North Carolina has begun to submit bids for over 100 NCAA championship events between 2018 and 2022. Now this is really exciting that it comes right as UNC won the NCAA Final Four, and I think that, you know, this is a good push for and a big win for the LGBTQ community.
I agree, but it's interesting because other states have started to follow suit with this North Carolina bathroom ban. Like, I know my home in Texas is even, you know, considering putting a bathroom ban in place. So it's crazy to see how there are such controversial issues like these bathroom bans popping up across the country.
And it'll be interesting to see how it moves forward, especially with more protests going on and just a lot of, you know, the changes in government and a lot of issues being talked about and the hot topics that are going on right now.
Well, speaking of hot topics and other issues, Neil Gorsuch was confirmed by the Senate to become the 113th judge of the Supreme Court. However, the confirmation did not come easily. Thursday night, Democrats waged a filibuster against Gorsuch, denying him the 60 votes he needed to be confirmed. In response, Republicans lowered the threshold for advancing Supreme Court nominations from 60 votes to the majority of 51. Judge Gorsuch, who is only 49, will have many years of influence on the highest judicial desk of the United States. And it's pretty interesting that it took a filibuster and they had the so-called nuclear option to bring in Gorsuch. I know we were paying attention to this on Thursday, but what do you think of this? I know it's been a long time coming that they finally picked a Supreme Court justice.
I think that this was just a crucial point, that it is so important who we pick for the Supreme Court justices because they do serve their full life terms, and that he is one of the youngest judges we've ever had, and he's very conservative, and so this is now going to be a majority conservative Supreme Court, and so moving forward is going to be interesting. I think it's really telling the fact that it took this long to even make a decision, and so I really think that it's going to be interesting to see moving forward what they decide on these topics, especially like the bathroom bans, and as more of these controversial topics come up, it'll be really telling to see what's going to happen with our government.
Definitely, it definitely will be.
But in other government news, the United States has launched 59 missiles at Syria. The missiles were in response to a chemical weapons attack carried out by the Syrian government that brutally killed over 100 people last week. President Trump, who has gone back and forth on this issue, said the strike was in the best interest interest for the U.S.'s national security in order to stop the use of chemical weapons. This move invoked an angry response from Russia, who is backing the Assad regime. However, the U.S. said it warned Russia before firing the missiles, and the U.S.-led airstrike killed 6 people. Now, this attack, I saw images, the chemical attack was really hard to see, and this response, kind of came out of nowhere that the U.S. deployed military action.
I agree, because we had seen something on Thursday saying that President Trump was considering military action, but then it did feel like it kind of came out of nowhere. So it's interesting to see that this is kind of the first time we're seeing such a large military response, and I'm curious how it's going to affect the United States' relationship with other countries.
Because there were so many different, some countries were very happy, but then in Russia's case, they were very upset, and so it'll be, hopefully, relations moving forward will hopefully come to an end in what's going on in Syria and the chemical warfare.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. But some more controversy happening this week. Pepsi is pulling their ad featuring Kendall Jenner after it sparked controversy on social media. The ad shows Jenner leaving one of her fashion photo shoots to walk into a large protest. She then brings an end to the protest by sharing a Pepsi with a police officer. Once the officer takes a drink of soda, the crowd screams out in applause. People express their anger over this ad on social media for varied reasons, most notably an inappropriate representation of protests in America. The ad was uploaded to YouTube last week but has since been taken down. And Jackie, Pepsi also put out a statement saying they apologized to Kendall Jenner for putting her in this position. So I know we both got to watch the ad.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate that she was put in this position, but at the same time, I think that it's this whole controversy over Black Lives Matter and all these protests, I think it's really trivializing the whole issues that are going on in these protests that are affecting so many people in America. And if anything that's come out of it, at least it's being talked about and discussed. And I hope that this opens conversations in surrounding it and how to not trivialize different people and events that are going on and become more aware of these situations, and so that you're not trivializing certain people.
Definitely.
But moving on to a food company, Panera has been officially bought by Jab Holding Company, the same company that owns Krispy Kreme donuts. Jab seems to be on a buying spree lately, as it has also recently bought companies including Keurig Green Mountain, Caribou Coffee, and Einstein Bagels. Panera Bread CEO and founder says he decided to sell the major company because he's ready to have less on his plate. He also said he's excited to no longer have to deal with the stress that comes along with owning a company. Jab dropped $7.5 billion to take over Panera Bread. Now, Jamie, I am a huge Panera Bread fan, so all I hope is that they do not touch their menu or take away some mac and cheese.
The only thing I'd be okay with is if they added those Krispy Kreme donuts onto the menu at Panera, because I'm a huge Krispy Kreme fan, huge Panera fan, and why mess what isn't broken?
Well, I hope Jab Company's listening and that they get that memo, because I think that would be a great idea. And I love all those companies, and I hope that they just continue to do well and they don't touch that menu.
Either way, it's going to be very yummy. After the break, captain of the Syracuse men's lacrosse team, Sergio Salcido, is in studio. He'll be sitting down with CitrusTV sports reporter Tyler Aki to discuss his 5 years playing for Syracuse and this year's run for the national championship.
And also, first-year players production of Big Fish is coming up, so we'll be talking to the producer of the show to preview this year's performance.
Stay with us.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream, that I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly, just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes, B, console her,
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
The Syracuse men's lacrosse team is 8-1 this season and ranked second in the country.
The team has won 6 games by a 1-goal margin, led by a group of resilient seniors, including captain Sergio Salcido.
Sergio is here with CitrusTV's Tyler Aki to discuss his journey to the top of the lacrosse world.
Thank you, Jamie and Jackie. Joined now by the man of the hour, Sergio Salcido. Serge, your team's off to a great start so far, and you're looking to build that forward. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
So first, I just want to start talking about your lacrosse journey. Obviously, a little unorthodox. You came in as a walk-on, and can you just walk me through that progression from being a walk-on, no scholarship here, you're from Florida. Like, what made you want to come all the way up to Syracuse and to this weather?
I've always wanted to play lacrosse here. You know, my mom is actually from upstate New York, so I used to come to a bunch of games when I was younger during spring break trips and stuff. And you know, I wanted to play at the best school in the country, and at the time, Syracuse was the best school in the country. So when the opportunity presented itself, I figured why not just go for it.
Now, your freshman year, you tear your ACL. And what's going through your mind? Like, you don't have a scholarship. Was there any doubt in your mind?
Yeah, you know, I tore my ACL like the first week of practice, and obviously that's not how I wanted to start, you know, my career here at Syracuse. So, yeah, I would say at times, you know, I kind of had some doubts and, you know, some disbelief. But, you know, after I got back from the ACL and started getting back to practice and kind of get back in the swing of things, you know, I never really doubted myself from there.
And you're going through this. Meanwhile, it's the winter. You're on crutches, going through the snow. Like, why are you still here?
I've always wanted to play here. It's been my dream since I was like in second grade. That's when I came to my first Syracuse lacrosse game, and you know, I knew it was just maybe like a test to see like how bad I really wanted it. So I stuck it out, and I told myself, you know, just give it until at least the end of your sophomore year, and then if you're really not feeling it, you know, you can always transfer or make a different decision.
And you're from Florida, not a lacrosse hotbed by any stretch, I think we can say, but you come up here. Where's the Syracuse allure from Florida? Like, how did you pick that up? I know you said you've got relatives from around here.
Yeah.
So is that where that comes from?
Yeah, my mom always was big into Syracuse athletics when she was growing up, and you know, we used to come to games when I was younger, and all the guys from home that used to coach me that were at my high school when I was a younger kid always were like, if you're going to play college lacrosse, you got to go to Syracuse. They're like the best school for lacrosse, and I kind of just set my sets high and kind of kept my standards high, and just like I said, never looked back.
And you tore your ACL, so you're going through this tough little stretch that, I mean, you didn't see it coming. No one really sees it coming. And, I mean, who's your rock during that time when the times get tough?
I was actually, coincidentally, Adrian Peterson tore his ACL like the same time as me. Went through the same surgery. I had the same surgeon. So I was just kind of like trying to like keep up with him. That was probably unlikely. You know, he's a freak athlete. But he was like getting back, you know, running, doing all this. See all these videos of him on social media and stuff. So I was just trying to push myself and like find somebody who I could kind of like share the injury with, like the same kind of timeline. And I was just pushing myself to like try to, you know, keep up with him and like get back as quickly as he did and all that.
So you had the same surgeon as AP?
Yeah, we both went to Dr. Baker.
And did you ever meet him?
Pensacola, Florida. I never met AP,
Okay.
no, I
Well,
wish.
speaking of pro athletes, you went to the same high school as Austin Rivers.
Yep.
And you were there at the same time.
Yeah, he's a year older than me.
So, I mean, who's the better athlete, you or Austin?
Austin.
Really?
Yeah, he's in the NBA.
Yeah?
Make millions. So.
Well, I mean, you have a chance to play pro lacrosse, and let me make the case for you real quick. He is 11th all-time in Florida in scoring in basketball. You're 10th all-time in lacrosse for Florida. So
yeah.
You've got that going for you.
Cool. I'll take it.
All right.
Yeah.
Coming up on the other side, Sergio and I will pick up our conversation and look at Syracuse's charge for a national championship.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
Welcome back to Juice and Java, here joined by Sergio Salcido, captain of the Syracuse lacrosse team, the #2 ranked team in the nation. And Syracuse really on a surge now. And I mean, looking at you personally this year, you've got 9 goals on the season, but you're leading the team in the assists. I mean, this is something that, I mean, last year you were a primary scorer, 28 goals. Why are you maybe not taking a back seat, but you're more of a distributor this year?
I think, like you said, last year I kind of came out to a hot start scoring, and it was more of a threat, being an offensive guy scoring and putting the ball in the net. And teams are sliding a little bit earlier to me this year, doubling me a little bit earlier, kind of locking me off, making it a little bit harder for me to get to the net. But if you're getting doubled, in lacrosse, that means the guy's open. So I've just kind of found ways to continue to produce and put up numbers, and I guess that's just by feeding the ball to my teammates.
All right, and getting a little bit back to your journey, I know we highlighted that before the break a little bit, and when you were telling people that you were going to come to Syracuse, and maybe they laughed at you a little bit, but now you're out here, you're an All-American. I mean, what are you telling those people now?
Nothing, honestly. I'm just kind of letting
you got to tell them something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of letting the story kind of do the talking for me. But no, I mean, yeah, if I see guys from my high school or my rival high schools back home, they're always pretty nice and congratulate me and tell me they've been keeping up with it. And I guess it's a good feeling to kind of see it kind of come back around and kind of bite them.
Do you run into any of those guys during your games? Like, are you playing any of them in college lacrosse now?
Not many guys from my town play Division I lacrosse right now. Only one. He plays at the University of Maryland, but he was kind of always on my side of things. So
Okay.
I'm cool with him. But no, I mean, I see the guys in the summer walking around, or if we're out or something, and it's nothing but love now. So it's great.
Now I want to get into a little bit of the whole rivalry aspect. Now, Syracuse, a very historic program, has a handful of rivals out there you look at. I mean, you just played one in Hobart, and you got one in Cornell coming up. When you were a freshman, what was kind of the message that some of the upperclassmen handed down to you of, oh, we're supposed to hate these guys? Like, how was that transmitted to you?
Yeah, we would have meetings in the beginning of the fall my freshman year, and the seniors were extremely serious about everything. It's their last chance, it's their last year, and I feel for them now being a 5th year. So they were always kind of getting us to really buy in and develop understanding that if you're on someone's schedule, every team wants to beat you, every team wants a chance at beating Syracuse. And it didn't really even hit me or the other guys honestly until our first game week. My freshman year, just the intensity from the fall practices to that, where it just jumped incredibly. And then you get to the Dome, your first home game, your first career game, and it's just a completely different atmosphere than you're used to playing in high school or any really showcase in your time. So I think just the atmosphere alone and realizing how important it is definitely was an eye opener to me.
And who's the team you hate the most?
All of them.
All of them?
No, I really don't like Duke, honestly. Duke's they're a tough team to beat, and they're well coached. So it's definitely it's always a fun game playing those guys.
And that's a new ACC rival right there. So not the old Big East, which you used to play in. Anyways, Sergio, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tyler and Sergio. Coming up, the producer of this year's FYP show, Kelly Egan, is in studio to talk about this year's production.
And later, the Masters continue this weekend. Aodhan Doyle is here to talk about the history of the tournament and one of golf's greatest traditions.
Don't turn that channel.
Maybe he's really focused.
Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. This is a serious problem, but one we can solve. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're feeding America.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to Juice and Java. Opening night for First Year's Players production of Big Fish is coming up.
The curtain rises on April 13th and the final preparations are well underway.
We're here with Kelly Egan, the producer of the show. Thank you for coming, Kelly.
Thank you for having me.
So first question, what is Big Fish? Can you tell us a little bit about the show?
Sure. Big Fish follows the journey of a father and son throughout father and son's life. So it bounces back between when Will, the son, is younger and when he's older and getting married and having a kid of his own. And it's all about how his father, as he's grown up, has told him these elaborate fantasy stories about giants and mermaids, but now that he's older and having his own kid, he wants to know what the truth behind these stories really is.
So this is a really deep plot and thoughtful story. So it's very different than a lot of the musicals you've done before. So why is that? Why is this theme so different? And how did you guys come to that decision to pick Big Fish?
I think that we chose Big Fish because the purpose of First Year Players is to create a family, and this show is all about family. Similar to Addams Family that we did 2 years ago and Rent that we did, it's all based around family. So we just really wanted to kind of continue that.
Yeah, that's so sweet. And so going off that, do you think that when it comes to picking a show, do you specifically look for shows that are family oriented because FYP is a family, or it just kind of works out that way?
I think it depends on the year because Heathers wasn't really based off family. So I think it just kind of depends on what our director envisions, our music director, our choreographer. So it's very based on what our e-board has a vision for this year.
So now you guys, I know that you guys as a board are working on this production all throughout the year, but you are working with First Year Players and a lot of freshmen. And so what are the challenges that go with that?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is we don't have a ton of time with our first years. We audition when we get right back from winter break. So we have from then to the show opening in April to get ready. I don't think there's as many challenges as perks to just working with first years. They're so passionate about the show and they want to create such an amazing production that I think that just adds to our show.
And so this year is actually the 25th anniversary of the organization Fifth Year Players. You guys have anything special planned?
We're having an alumni event. Everyone's going to come down. They're going to meet people of cast that they've never met before, and they all get to hang out and have a great event, and then they'll come to the closing night of our show.
So now the closing night of the show, when can we see the opening night and how do we get tickets?
So our shows are the 13th, 14th, and 15th of April at 8 p.m. And you can get tickets online at the Shine Box Office website or at Shine Box Office.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to it. Thank you so much,
excited.
Kelly.
Good luck for having me.
Coming up, Masters Weekend is here. What makes this weekend in Augusta National the greatest weekend in golf?
Well, Aodhan Doyle has that answer after the break. We'll be right back.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees?
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
The Masters is one of the toughest challenges in the golf world.
The 18 holes that make up this famous course can break even the most talented golfers.
Aodhan Doyle is here to tell us what sets apart this course from the rest and why Masters weekend is such a popular golf tradition.
Thanks, Jamie and Jackie. Some sports are synonymous with a single event. For hockey, there's the Stanley Cup Finals, football, the Super Bowl, and tennis, the grass courts of Wimbledon. For golf, it's Thursday through Sunday of the first full week of April. As winter's cold grays turn to warm greens, the world's best golfers descend upon Augusta, Georgia for the Masters. The history books turn to a new page and prepare to be inscribed upon. Since the course's inception in 1933, Augusta National has been the epicenter of professional golf. Built on a 365-acre nature sanctuary, the course is truly a masterpiece under the magnolias. The Masters is golf's greatest theater, each hole in each tournament full of stories worthy of Shakespeare. Over the past 8 decades, the Masters has established timeless traditions, beginning with the annual Champions Dinner, where those fortunate enough to have conquered the game's most iconic major convene as one of the world's most select fraternities. Then to Wednesday's Par 3 tournament, where fans witness the game's current stars and legends play. The next morning, a couple of the game's legends kick the tournament off with ceremonial first tee shots. Finally, when a champion has been decided, he receives golf's most coveted prize, the green jacket. Part sport coat, part symbol, and a reward for artistry on Augusta's hallowed grounds, granting admission into golf's most prestigious club. A single coat with a single color, yet countless layers and threads of history. Then there's the course itself. It's where Gene Sarazen's double eagle forced a playoff with Craig Wood in 1935. It's where Arnie's Army started and brought the game to the masses. It's where Jack Nicklaus defied the odds to win his 6th Masters in 1986. And it's where Tiger Woods chipped in on 16 in 2005. It's where a bubbling brook known as Rays Creek has become golf's most famous water hazard. It's where 3 holes known as Amen Corner have become golf's most iconic stretch of turf. As the game's veterans give way to a new generation of stars with names like Spieth and McIlroy and Fowler, the tradition of the Masters will continue to be unlike any other. Mother Nature gives us the spring, Augusta National gives us the Masters.
We got a golf clap to that. Thank you, Aodhan. That is all for Juice and Java this morning.
Check us out online at CitrusTV.com and follow CitrusTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I'm Jamie Weiss.
And I'm Jackie Prager. Have a great weekend, Syracuse.